Boy, oh boy. You guys know about supporters. I know about supporters. I don't have to go into detail about what they are, but oh man, this might have been one of the worst decisions that Legends has ever made in terms of a new mechanic. Now, I want to start by saying I don't think supporters at the core are a bad thing. I actually think supporters are really cool, and it is a really awesome mechanic, a new mechanic. The problem is the way they're going about it is making it absolutely dreadful and annoying. It's a bad system. The way they're going about this, if they were to continue down this train, this would probably be the worst mechanic we've ever seen in the history of this game. And I will explain why. I'm just gonna give my thoughts on the supporter system, kind of like a rant video, if you will, but at the same time, more just like really. I just wanted to give my thoughts on this whole situation. So, the first issue I want to go over is how supporters are acquired, right? We all knew going into this that they were going to be accessible in the shop. You were supposed to be able to buy them. We knew that going into this because they mentioned it, I believe, in a reveal or something. So that wasn't really a surprise, but I think most people were expecting, maybe a couple thousand to like max out a supporter, or, something like that. Nothing too crazy, maybe just a little bit of investment, not something that's like summoning for an ultra or a Legends Limited. Like, it's just something you gotta throw a bone, Except it is 100 CC to level them up one time. To get one shard, it is 100 chrono crystals, which I'm pretty sure you actually have to own the character before you can even do that, but it's not even that hard to get them. You have to spend, if you were to only get the one shard, you'd have to spend 9,900 chrono crystals. I believe, if I am remembering correctly, because one shard is 100 CC, and I believe you have to buy them, 99 times. Or no, it's 111 shards, isn't it? So wouldn't it be more? I don't really remember the math, but it's some absurd number. It's like in like the 9,000-10,000 range for one supporter, to max out one supporter. Like, that is absurd, right? And part of that issue is the fact that these supporters give you stats, right? So by leveling them up, you are getting, here, I'll pull up Dende real quick so you can see this. You actually are given stats for having them at higher levels, which honestly, I don't even have to explain why that's a horrible thing. I mean, you could probably, that is just so pay to win, right? Yes, I know, Legends is meant to be pay to win. It is a pay to win game. It always and forever will be. There's nothing we can do about that. They have to make money, right? So it makes sense. It's a gacha game. The problem is, when you add stuff like this, you are just widening the gap between pay to play players and free to play players, which again, maybe it's not a bad thing, right? Maybe that's what they want, but I don't think this is the way to do it, right? I mean, on technicality, you should never try to widen the gap between pay-to-play players and free-to-play players, but that's always going to happen. No matter what, pay-to-win players will always have an advantage over free-to-play. I just don't like this because this is something like, if you're pay-to-win, this is the easiest like jump for you, right? This will just it gets you 2 hurdles more than a free-to-play player, right? The free-to-play player can't really do anything about it. You can summon as a free-to-play player, maybe get them once or twice, but you're only getting at level 1, 2,500 base blast attack, 2,500 base blast defense. Nothing too crazy. Now let's say you're pay to win, right? And you max out a supporter, you get them max level. You are now getting, you are now 4xing what a free-to-play player would have at level 1. You are now getting 10,000 of both of those stats instead of 2,500. I feel like I should not need to explain why that is a bad thing. And I don't know how people feel about this. I haven't really seen anyone really talk about this. Actually, I feel like the stats part of this is ass. I don't think supporters should give stats. That is my honest opinion. I mean, I guess it makes sense considering that there's levels to these supporters, but like, I just don't, I don't know. This doesn't sit right with me. I don't like that they give stats. Maybe if it wasn't as much stats, it wouldn't be as big of a problem, but the fact that it's such a big gap between level 1 and level 10, like 99, I don't know. It's really weird, right? I don't like that. I don't like that they give stats. Maybe they can change the system so that the levels do something different. Maybe something else that's I don't really know how that would work, because there wouldn't really be a point to leveling them up unless you got them to the increments of like, level 1 to 30 or then there's level 59. Yeah, like there wouldn't really be a reason to level them up past that if they didn't give stats, or to like get them from like level 1 to level 15, for example. There's really no reason to do that if there isn't stats, which is probably why this is here. It's to incentivize that. I still don't like it though. I really don't. I don't know if does Yajirobe get the exact same thing? Oh no, Yajirobe is oh, my bad. I think I said double attack. He gives blast attack and defense, then it does, and then Yajirobe gives double strike. So I don't know. The stats part of it just bothers me. Now, I'm gonna speak a little bit on the plus side here before I go into more negative stuff, because no, actually, let's just keep talking about why I hate supporters. Let's just stick on this train. We might as well, right? So I've gone over how they're acquired. I mean, honestly, it's pretty much the bulk of it. It's just like they're extremely pay to win. I mean, they're really cool in theory, but it's just so pay to win. This doesn't really work, and I don't know. It just feels really weird. I think the two big issues is one. Well, okay, actually, let me go into their banners, right? I think the 2% summon rate is not bad. I think that's solid, right? For 2% to pull, at least it gets you the supporter. If you summon on a banner, you're like almost guaranteed to get them like in a few summons. However, considering how hard it is to level them up, I personally do not feel like 2% is enough. Or I do feel like 2% is not enough. I don't know if I said that right the first time. I think if they were going to do it this way, considering how much you have to invest to level them up, it is just better to just make it like 5%, honestly. Make it so that pretty much in every step, you're getting like maybe 1 or 2 of these every summon, right? Or maybe even more, honestly. I mean, it just... I don't know. I understand the whole motive behind this is to provide pay-to-win players with another. I feel like this is really just to make money. This just feels like a money grab. It is something to tell pay-to-play players, hey, if you get this, you'll be even better than everyone else, right? And of course, if every pay-to-play player buys it, it kind of offsets itself, so it doesn't really do anything. But I think this is literally just a way of the devs being like, hey, come buy this. You can get more stats. You can beat the guy with the 3-star LF Super Saiyan Goku with your 14-star Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. That feels like what this is. It's just a kick in the dirt for anyone that's already, struggling in this game, especially considering they have been sapping us dry, by the way, with the anniversary. I mean, we had Ultra Super Vegito with the CC deals like 7,000 Chrono Crystals. that was a lot of Chrono Crystals, and a lot of people were pissed because it's a great deal, but it was horribly timed, which I do agree with. I mean, a great deal, just maybe give a little bit more Chrono Crystals because it's I don't know. But yeah, I mean, everything they do is for money. So that's why they did it. It's because they knew no one had Chrono Crystals, so you had to spend money if you wanted them, right? Anyways, so yeah, the big 2 problems for me with the supporters are 1, the fact that they are so heavily pay to win, like it is ridiculous. And 2, how much it costs to level them. Well, I mean, honestly, it kind of just falls the same thing. It's just pay to win. It's so pay to win. It costs way too much to level them up. And God, the supporters just bother me. But I do want to get into a few positives about supporters, right? I want to talk about a few reasons why I actually don't mind supporters as much as people hate them. The first reason is if we look at their activation conditions and what they do. So Yajirobe here, right? What he does is he will stop the enemy's combo. I think they have to use 2 cards. The first card they will get off, and the second card, if it's still in the combo, it will end the combo. I really like that this is conditional. I really do, because from what it sounds like, the supporters are all going to have like, it's gonna be situational, right? You're gonna make a team of supporters, maybe to counter specific teams, right? You bring a few that you think you might need, and depending on what the enemy is running, you can pick a supporter based on that. I love that. It just gives another way of like running. It feels like this is a way of endorsing variety in the meta. It also kind of keeps certain units in check. Like for example, Ultra Frieza, right? He kind of feels like he is designed to counter Ultra Frieza. Well, maybe not counter Ultra Frieza specifically, but the fact that it's his activation condition relies on the enemy being there has to be a Frieza Force battle member. I mean, other than maybe Revival Vegeta and the Ginyu Force, it's really just Ultra Frieza that this is going to activate against. So all he does is stop the combo. So again, it punishes Ultra Frieza for, being an absolute freaking menace on the field. I love that this is, you can choose a supporter based on the enemy's team. It just gives you a defense or choices against the opponent that you're running against. That way you don't just run into it blind, because a lot of the times, right, let's say you're running mono red. Oh wow, you just ran into mono blue, guess you lost the game, right? Well, maybe one of these days they might bring a supporter that if enemy has element blue character, maybe it'll make your element red characters like resist damage or something like that, right? So you may not always use the supporter, right? Some supporters will probably get more value than others, but you have options. I love that's what they seem to be going for with like their abilities and such. Another thing I really like about supporters is that what was I gonna say? Oh my god, I just completely forgot. Wait, give me a second. No, it's just gone. All right, what the hell? I just completely forgot. I mean, yeah, the main reason why I like supports, it feels like a very unique mechanic in the sense where you can have options. You can have it is encouraging you to run maybe setups you wouldn't normally run, or maybe like you can go into a match with less fear if you run a team that is easily countered by one character. Like for example, if Kyle Goku exists, right? Maybe there'll be a supporter that goes, oh, your health restoration goes down by 50% so I don't know, but I really like that supporters do that. But overall, I mean, this mechanic, it just feels like all they're doing is they just want you to spend money to level these guys up. That's all it feels like. It's a cash grab, right? Like, this mechanic would not be so bad if they just didn't make it so expensive. That is the part that it is just so baffling that Legends has been making so many great changes over the years. You know, maybe some good ones, maybe there's a few bad ones here and there, but it feels like they've been on the right path. Like I felt like a lot of the new changes they've made have been targeted towards making the game a little bit more accessible for free-to-play players. Like the biggest one being when Zenkai's became free. That was awesome. I like straight up. Zenkai's becoming free was beautiful. It does take free-to-play players like what? I think it's like 2 weeks because you have to log in every day for 14 days to get the max. But still, like I'd rather get a unit 2 weeks late and get like a free upgrade than never and have to or spend chrono crystals. For supporters, however, right? Yeah, okay, you know, you can get it immediately if you're a free-to-play player. Not really though, because to put it into perspective, guys, if you wanted to have a full maxed out supporters team, I don't know why you would, but let's just say you wanted to whale, right? You can have up to 6 supporters, I think, if it's the same as a party. You can have up to 6 supporters on a team. We only have 2, so you can't do that yet. You would have to spend, I believe it's like 9,000 to 10,000 chrono crystals. Let's just say 10,000 on the upwards end, just to put this point into play here. Let's say you're a brand new player, you have no supporters, right? You go, oh, I want, you know, Yajirobe, Dende, and a bunch of other supporters, right? You want to just get a full team. If you get them, if you let's just say you don't even summon, right? I think you have to get them from summon first, but let's just say you don't even summon, right? It would be 10,000 chrono crystals per supporter. So to get a full team of supporters, you'd have to spend 60k crystals. Guys, that is absurd. That is absolutely absurd. Like I don't, why? Literally why? We're already spending 30,000 chrono crystals, 40,000 chrono crystals for ultras sometimes. Like if you're pay to play, you're spending sometimes upwards of 30k, maybe 40k for an ultra because the system fucking sucks. So why are we making it even harder to acquire stuff? Like again, supporters are so cool in theory, but they take so much resources. You need to like make that number like a fourth of what it is. I'm telling you, make it like 2 to 3k to max them out. Bam, you're done, right? Like this system just sucks. And I hope that no one actually buys these just to make Legends understand how bad this is. I'm sure people out there will. Like I'm sure, like, you know, if Garesh, for example, he probably will, but I mean, he does content. That makes sense, right? If you are pay to play, unless you just buy everything because you like collecting, I mean, that's, you know, you can spend whatever money you want, but if you're thinking about spending money on supporters and you don't know whether you should or not, please don't. Just to send a message to the devs, this system fucking sucks. It is horrible. Like there's no other way to put it. They're just so bad. Like for one, again, the stats, them having stats, this shouldn't exist. It really shouldn't, right? Like I would much rather make it like one. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Make it like a 1% to pull a supporter, but you know, make it so you only need 4 copies, right? I would argue that is so much better than having to spend 10,000 crystals, right? I mean, well, maybe not actually, because you would have to summon a bunch more, which could be worse. But that's just a point. The point being, I would rather you have to pull less copies and it be a little bit rarer than make them more common, but make them extremely expensive to max out, right? Like, again, I'm thinking make it like 3,000 to max out a support. I think that's fair. I personally think that 3,000 from what we've seen them do would be fair to max out a supporter. Now, for someone like Yadrobi, for example, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. This guy just doesn't seem that good. I think he should have gotten an extra charge here. I think Yadrobi is not that good. I think for him, you should have made it so maybe like, you know, level 1's fine. Maybe make level 2, he gets a second charge, but has a timer count cooldown of like 20 counts or something. And then, you know, like, yeah, literally, I think Yadrobi, you can make him better by reducing this to like, move all of these tiers 1 tier back. So like, instead of this being 100, it'd be 80. Instead of this being 80, it'd be 65. Instead of this being 65, it'd be 50. And then maybe in the final tier, leave it at 50, but just like, give him a second charge. I mean, that's a little bit off topic, but I don't know, man. Supporters, it's not a bad system at heart. It really isn't. Like, genuinely, it is not a bad idea. But if they keep going on this route, I wonder how this game's going to do, because I mean, the game has grown tremendously, and I would like to believe it's because this game is more accessible to free-to-play players. They've been giving out more Chrono Crystals every year. Goresh debunked this whole thing. We've been getting more every year. So hopefully they find a way to revamp the system so it is not so pay to play. Make it more accessible to free to play players. Like the whole, like, you know, if you're a pay to play player, all right, cool. You can spend, you know, a couple thousand Chrono Crystals, right? You can max them out. You're free to play, great. It's not that hard to invest in them. Like, you know, yeah, you're gonna be losing out on summon currency if you try to max them out, but at least it's not an arm and a fucking leg to get 1 character. Like, bro, that's like, guys, this is the equivalent of, like, let's say you get Ultra Super Saiyan Goku to 1 red star or 3 red star, any red star count, but you never pulled Ultra for the rest of the year because you're broke. Like, that's literally what the system is. Like, you get maybe 1 supporter you can try to grind for, but like, I don't know how fast they're gonna punch these out either. Like, we don't know how much supporters we're gonna have in like a month from now or a year from now. They could potentially do this like every premium banner. They could add a new supporter. Imagine that. Imagine if every banner they added a new supporter, which they probably will not do this. There probably will be banner units, or maybe neither. But just imagine if every banner had a new supporter. That would be like every 2 to 3 weeks. Or month if it's a dead period, but we'll just say every 2 to 3 weeks, there is a new supporter. You have to now spend 10,000 Chrono Crystals to max out, right? Okay, you don't have to, but like, if you don't, you're gonna be at such a disadvantage. I mean, or maybe you just get 1 supporter max and just keep that, just to have the stats or something. But even then, that's just like, oh my god, I could go on and on. This system just makes me mad. Again, I've said this so many times, but just to leave it off with this note, supporters at the core, at the idea, oh my god, can I speak? In the root of the idea, this is not bad. I like the concept of supporters. I don't like how they're going about it, and I don't like how expensive they're making it. So we'll just leave it at that. I know I speak a lot of mumbo jumbo. We'll just leave it at that and call it good. Anyways, that's the end of my rant or discussion or whatever you want to call it. Let me know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me, disagree with me? What do you think about supporters? Let me know, because I am genuinely curious. Anyways, I'm gonna leave now. Goodbye.